Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Gossips 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. In a twist that feels almost too explosive for even Los Angeles to handle, The Bold and the Beautiful is preparing to unleash a storyline that will shake every branch of the Forrester family tree, testing loyalties, relationships, identities, and the very meaning of destiny itself. It all begins with a near-fatal plane crash, an accident that forces Brooke Logan to stare death in the face, leaving her body battered, her future uncertain, and her heart inexplicably changed forever. Hours before impact, Brooke was already emotionally fragile, standing at a crossroads between Ridge, Bill, and the future she never expected to face again. Yet when that jet shuddered, broke apart, and fell screaming from the sky, something awakened inside her. A deep primal will to survive, not just for herself, but for the child she didn't yet know she carried. When Brooke is pulled from the wreckage, unconscious, bleeding and barely breathing, paramedics discover faintly stable vitals, and she is rushed into emergency surgery. Ridge waits in the hospital hallway pacing, his mind looping with every memory of Brooke he ever adored. Meanwhile, Bill Spencer storms in like a thundercloud, convinced Ridge's actions caused the accident, and Katie can only look between them, knowing the truth will destroy at least one of their futures. In the operating room, Brooke whispers Ridge's name, then Bill's, then a new phrase no one expects to hear. "Save my baby." Doctors freeze. Baby? They believed Brooke's days of pregnancy were over decades ago. And yet tests confirm the impossible, the shock, the medical miracle, the biological defiance. Brooke Logan is pregnant. As word spreads through Forrester creations like wildfire, chaos erupts across Los Angeles. Hope is speechless, collapsing into tears, realizing her mother is fighting for two lives. But the looming question becomes the dagger beneath every heartbeat. Who is the father? Ridge or Bill? Ridge replays every intimate moment between them, convinced he and Brooke have created a final chance at forever, while Bill refuses to believe fate would bless Ridge after everything he's done. Even Steffi is left reeling, whispering to Thomas that this baby could tear the family apart, and she is right. Ridge's reaction shifts dramatically from stunned hope to uncontrollable jealousy, especially when he learns Bill was the last person Brooke saw before boarding the plane. Quinn watches with wicked curiosity, instantly connecting the dots between destiny and destruction, predicting that this baby will end Brooke and Ridge once and for all. Meanwhile, Taylor, shocked yet oddly calm, wonders what this means for Ridge's future and begins preparing herself emotionally for the fallout, whispering to Finn that Brooke's pregnancies have always changed everything. Brooke awakens slowly days later, staring at the ceiling, unable to breathe as Hope and Ridge hover over her, praying. Doctors gently break the news. She survived, the baby survived, but her body is weak, the risks enormous, and her stress levels dangerously high. Brooke cries, whispering she thought motherhood was behind her. She never imagined feeling life inside her again. And Ridge holds her hand, promising to protect her forever. But Brooke sees Bill lurking in the doorway, eyes full of thunder, gaze locked on her stomach as if it contains his entire existence. Brooke feels trapped between the two men once again. But this time the stakes are unlike anything she has ever faced. Ridge demands she stop seeing Bill entirely, insisting the stress could kill the child, but Bill refuses to step aside, declaring that if Brooke's baby could be his, he will never back down. The triangle reignites with a level of intensity unseen since the early days of the show. Every family member takes sides. Donna supports Brooke unconditionally. Eric worries that this news could reopen wounds still healing. Carter fears corporate collapse as media frenzy surrounds Forrester Creations, and RJ shocks everyone when he announces he wants Ridge and Bill to take paternity tests immediately so Brooke can heal in peace. Meanwhile, Steffi secretly plants seeds of doubt, telling Ridge that Brooke's history proves she always ends up pregnant when danger surrounds her, hinting that this child might be Bill's attempt to get his claws back into the family. Hope overhears and explodes, defending Brooke with a fury that surprises even Liam, who becomes terrified that this situation will trigger another breakdown in their marriage. Thomas watches silently, realizing that destiny has shifted again, and not even he can predict the outcome. At the same time, Deacon Sharp returns when he hears about the crash, barging into the hospital demanding answers. Brooke sobs when she sees him, her past roaring back like a tidal wave, And suddenly the pregnancy mystery becomes even more complicated. Did the crash reveal a baby already conceived, or trigger a medical miracle caused by trauma, adrenaline, and biological shock? Finn begins questioning whether the child might not belong to Ridge or Bill at all, but to Deacon. Outside the hospital walls, the world explodes into gossip. Tabloids scream headlines, bloggers leak doctor notes, paparazzi swarm the hallways, and social media explodes with theories. Bill hires private investigators, Ridge hires attorneys, Deacon secretly requests DNA screening without Brooke's knowledge, and Steffi meets with Taylor to plot damage control for Forrester. Meanwhile, Brooke struggles to walk, fatigued and dizzy, refusing to terminate the pregnancy despite multiple warnings that continuing could kill her. She declares that no matter whose baby this is, she will love it, protect it, and raise it to know the meaning of unconditional love. Ridge cries when he hears that, but his rage returns tenfold when Bill tries to enter Brooke's room late at night, swearing the child is his because he felt it when Brooke nearly died. Brooke begs Bill to leave before Ridge arrives, terrified the stress could hurt the baby, but Ridge walks in, and the confrontation becomes explosive. Ridge punches Bill. Bill threatens Ridge with legal custody proceedings. Brooke screams and collapses as her heart rate spikes. Doctors rush in, ordering everyone out, and Ridge finally realizes the truth. If he and Bill continue warring, Brooke and the baby could die. Just when everyone believes they've reached peak madness, the ultimate shocking revelation arrives. Brooke's blood work reveals she is significantly further along than anyone expected. The pregnancy began before the plane crash, meaning the crash did not cause the miracle, but survival did. Ridge looks victorious, certain the baby is his, until a single line on the medical chart wipes the smile from his face. The conception dates align with a secret night Brooke never confessed. A night with Bill. A night she believed Ridge had betrayed her. A night that never should have happened. Bill smirks knowingly. Ridge storms out devastated, and Brooke sobs uncontrollably, terrified her marriage is doomed. Meanwhile, Deacon overhears everything and realizes the window of conception overlaps another hidden moment, one involving him and Brooke months ago. He confronts her privately, whispering, "Brooke, are you sure the baby isn't mine?" Brooke faints, unable to breathe beneath the weight of truth, and suddenly the entire future of the Forrester dynasty rests inside her body. The hospital room felt impossibly still, the fluorescent lights humming quietly above Brooke's unconscious body, casting a pale glow across her skin. Outside the door, life was anything but peaceful. Ridge paced like a trapped animal, heart pounding with betrayal, fear, and hope all warring within him. Bill leaned against the opposite wall, arms crossed, refusing to look away, refusing to surrender, convinced fate had handed him a miracle just when he thought Brooke was lost to him forever. Doctors whispered, nurses moved with brisk efficiency, and hospital security had been placed on alert since news of the pregnancy leaked, because the Forresters and Spencer families had turned the maternity ward into a battlefield. But inside Brooke's silent mind something deeper stirred. A voice, faint but insistent, telling her she wasn't done fighting, telling her she had another purpose, telling her that this child, no matter the father, would change everything. When Brooke finally opened her eyes again hours later, she heard nothing at first but the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor. Her body felt heavy, sore, and fragile, but beneath the physical exhaustion lay a flicker of strength she didn't understand. Ridge rushed to her side instantly, grabbing her hand, whispering her name through tears. Brooke blinked slowly, trying to ground herself in the world she had nearly left behind. Her throat felt dry as dust, but she forced out two trembling words. "The baby." Ridge smiled through tears, brushing hair from her forehead and assuring her the baby was alive, healthy, and still holding on. The relief that surged through Brooke's body was overwhelming. But then she turned her head and saw Bill in the doorway. Eyes locked on her, chest rising and falling with emotion, and instantly panic sliced through her heart. Ridge followed her gaze, jaw tightening with silent hatred. A nurse stepped forward with calm authority, demanding Bill leave, reminding him Brooke needed rest, not stress or conflict. Bill protested, but Brooke lifted a weak hand and whispered, "Please go." Bill nodded, heartbroken, and walked out, but not willingly. The hall door closed with a soft click, and Ridge exhaled shakily, kissing Brooke's hand and whispering that everything would be okay now. But Brooke knew that was a lie. Nothing was okay. Nothing would ever be simple again. Ridge asked who that whispered night of conception belonged to, him or Bill, but Brooke hesitated. She turned away, staring at the wall, unable to speak. Her silence told Ridge everything. His face collapsed in defeat. In a single moment the lines between love, loyalty, and betrayal began to unravel again, just as vigorously as they had decades ago. And as Ridge stepped back, stunned and hurt, Hope entered the room. Her expression was raw, like the world had cracked beneath her feet. She hugged Brooke gently, whispering she didn't care who the father was. She just wanted her mother alive. But as she pulled away, she caught sight of Ridge storming out of the room. She followed him into the hallway, calling his name, but he didn't stop. He punched an elevator door in rage, then stalked away, face wet with tears. Hope stood frozen, terrified of what this fracture would mean for her family. Over Brooke's bed, a fresh wave of terror hit. She had just learned how fragile the baby truly was, and stress could trigger miscarriage. She pressed a hand to her stomach with trembling fingers, whispering a promise to protect her child, even if that meant shutting everyone out. Meanwhile, news of Brooke's pregnancy hadn't just shaken Ridge. It had set off avalanche-level chaos at Forrester Creations. Steffi, sitting in Eric's office with Thomas and Carter, read an article on her tablet with wide eyes. The headline was vicious. Forrester Queen Brooke Logan pregnant at 63, baby daddy mystery. Thomas laughed under his breath, shocked and bewildered, whispering that this would destroy the company image if not contained. Carter agreed. They needed immediate PR damage control. But Steffi? She didn't care about the press. She cared about Ridge. She wanted her father free from Brooke forever. And this baby scandal might finally be the nail in that marriage's coffin. She whispered that Ridge should return to Taylor, where he belonged, and Thomas nodded surprisingly, saying Brooke had lived her life playing destiny roulette for decades, and maybe the game had finally backfired. But not everyone agreed. RJ burst into the office, eyes full of fury, demanding Steffi and Thomas stop villainizing Brooke. His voice echoed through the halls. He accused them of relishing his mother's terror, reminding them Brooke risked dying to bring this baby into the world. Thomas stood, eyes narrowing, telling RJ not to confuse facts with emotion. Steffi argued Brooke had always caused chaos. This time the consequences could destroy Ridge forever. RJ shouted the baby was a miracle, a gift, a blessing, not a scandal. Carter stepped between them before punches were thrown, reminding everyone that Ridge was already in crisis. But RJ didn't care. He vowed to protect his mother from the Forresters and Spencers this time, even if it meant going to war. While family alliances cracked, Bill Spencer stood alone in his office at Spencer Publications, staring through floor-to-ceiling windows at the city skyline. His reflection glared back at him. His mind spun with determination. He whispered to himself that he would raise that baby, that Brooke and the child were his destiny, that Ridge only broke Brooke down year after year. Wyatt entered cautiously, shocked by the news, asking if the rumors were true. Bill turned slowly, voice trembling with emotion, and confirmed Brooke was pregnant, and the baby might be his. Wyatt choked, stunned, wondering how Bill would survive another round of Brooke versus Ridge war. Bill answered simply, "This isn't war. It's victory." But the story turned even darker at the hospital when Deacon walked into Brooke's room while she slept. He stood by her bedside, quiet, eyes full of memories, whispering he still loved her, whispering he knew conception timelines didn't exclude him. Hope walked in silently, watching her father speak to her mother with longing, and her entire body went cold. She grabbed Deacon's arm and escorted him out. Father and daughter argued in hushed voices by an ice machine in the hallway. Hope begged him not to complicate anything. Deacon refused. He confessed he and Brooke shared a private moment months ago. Hope froze. Tears filled her eyes. She couldn't believe what she was hearing, and she knew this truth, if spoken aloud, would rip the world apart. While family drama consumed the hospital corridors, the emotional storm inside Brooke intensified. She stared at the ultrasound image taped to the wall beside her bed. A tiny shape. A small curl of life. A new beginning. Yet she felt grief. She whispered Ridge's name over and over, terrified he would leave her. Suddenly her heart monitor spiked, beeping wildly. Nurses rushed to sedate her stress, urging her to breathe deeply, reminding her the pregnancy was dangerously high risk. Brooke closed her eyes, feeling small, helpless, and overwhelmed. Alone that night, she placed a hand over her belly, telling the baby she loved it more than breath itself. The baby kicked faintly in response. Brooke gasped, smiling through tears. But across town, Ridge had already made a catastrophic decision. He went to Taylor's house. Taylor opened the door, shocked, confused, heartbroken for him. Ridge stood silently before collapsing into her arms, sobbing. Taylor guided him to the sofa, holding him while he trembled. He whispered that Brooke betrayed him, that he didn't know if he could survive another heartbreak. Taylor stroked his hair gently, whispering that she never wanted this. Not his pain, not Brooke's suffering, but she believed fate was handing Ridge a new path. Ridge lifted his head and kissed her. A long, desperate kiss. Taylor didn't pull away. Meanwhile, Steffi and Thomas arrived at Taylor's house moments later, eager to check on Ridge. They saw their parents holding each other, and for the first time in years they felt hope that their family might be whole again. Thomas suggested Ridge stay with Taylor indefinitely until things stabilized. Ridge didn't answer, but his silent nod was enough. But the universe wasn't done twisting fate. Finn received new medical results at the hospital from Brooke's file. Something astonishing appeared in the DNA structure. Something impossible. He rushed down the hallway to find Steffi, and what he whispered made her jaw drop. The baby didn't match Ridge. It didn't match Bill. It didn't match Deacon. Finn believed for a terrifying moment that the pregnancy might not be the result of normal conception at all. It may have been caused by experimental fertility medication Brooke received years ago, still lingering chemically in her body, combining with trauma shock from the crash. The baby might not have a normal father. Steffi stared at Finn in horror. If this reached the press, Brooke wouldn't just be scandalized. She would be medically destroyed. And worse, Ridge would run back to her instantly if the pregnancy wasn't tied to betrayal. Steffi couldn't let that happen. She asked Finn to hide the information. Finn refused. She begged him, for her family, for their marriage, for Ridge's future. Finn hesitated. Hope watched from behind a supply cart, shaking, recording everything on her phone. Meanwhile, Eric Forrester sat alone in the Forrester mansion, staring at Stephanie's portrait, whispering she would have known what to do. He blamed himself for Ridge's suffering, for Brooke's breakdown, and for letting old wounds reopen. Donna entered quietly, wrapping her arms around him, telling him Brooke didn't do this to destroy anyone. Life just happened. Eric asked Donna to protect Brooke, to protect the unborn child, because he feared someone, Steffi, Bill, Ridge, would try controlling the situation. Back at the hospital, Brooke dreamed vividly. Standing on a cliff overlooking the ocean, seeing her unborn child walking beside her, smiling. In the dream she asked, "Who are you? Who do you belong to?" The child answered, "I belong to you." Brooke woke up sobbing, realizing she didn't need a father's name to love her child. But the world would never allow that simplicity. Bill returned to the hospital that morning with a signed legal petition. He wanted paternity established immediately. Ridge arrived minutes later, demanding annulment papers be notarized. Deacon arrived next, carrying roses and whispering to Brooke that he believed destiny had circled back to them. Chaos exploded. Hope screamed for everyone to stop. Brooke collapsed again. Doctors forced every man out, shouting that one more event like this could kill Brooke and the child. Security physically removed Bill and Ridge. Then a final twist hit. DNA samples came back. None matched. The baby had no father in medical records. Doctors were baffled. The world would be stunned. Ridge froze. Bill cursed destiny. Taylor whispered a prayer. Steffi panicked. Hope fainted. Deacon whispered, "What have we done?" Brooke held her stomach, crying, whispering, "This baby is mine, whether the world accepts it or not." And as monitors beeped and the hospital lights dimmed, Brooke closed her eyes, fully aware that the future of Los Angeles had just changed forever.